And welcome to another episode of Cupid's Corner. I am your host, Aybriel Beckham, and today I'm super excited because we have a variety of people on the panel. We have some that are engaged, married, some that are in a relationship, and some that are single. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys, but of course, before we start, you want to know who these people are. So let's go around the room and introduce ourselves.
Jay Sean.
Kiana.
I'm Jermonte.
Brittany. I'm Charlie.
Kamel.
Perfect. All right, so drink up, loosen up a little bit. All right, so we're going to get started. All right, let's go. Cheers. Let's go. Okay, Brittany. There we go.
There we go.
All right. For those that want to be married, why is that so important to you guys?
I'll start.
Okay.
I come from a broken home.
Okay.
And growing up, how religion is kind of forced upon the youth, you learn that the goal is to one day be a wife
right.
and have your own family. So I knew early on I never wanted to be no baby mama. I wanted to be the mother of my children. I wanted to be a wife, you
right.
know, that role in my partnership. So for me, it's just kind of what it stems from, those youth beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just to piggyback, I was born in a broken home too, and I was like, my dad wasn't there, stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of like change that, and I wanted to put all into my kids and into my wife and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I have the opportunity to do it, so let me just put myself out there, commit to one lady, which is so hard. So hard. However, but I didn't want to recreate that trauma that was passed down to me, and kind of like have my daughters, because I had to, just have somebody to look up to, a man especially. So
Exactly.
I feel you
want to break the cycle, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for those that want to be married, would you say that your background has influenced you? Would you say maybe social media, or would you see other people, or like you say, your parents? Like with that, is that something that also, like if you saw a broken home, of course you wanted to make a better home for yourself, but some people have that mindset, if I'm in a broken home, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So is that something that maybe your surroundings or social media has influenced you?
I would say maybe not social media so much, but just watching my mom. My mom and dad, they were not together. However, when she met my stepdad, it was just one union. So I've always viewed him as my father. So seeing that, seeing how he loves my mom, how my mom loves him, that's something that I want to have.
Right.
And also being a teacher, seeing the kids and their families, all in tune, that's what I want. And I know deep down in my heart, I could be a great mother and a great wife.
So I like it. Okay, anybody else want to answer?
And I would say that, not only that, is you always want to be an example for your children, as everyone has stated. You want to be able to be the mom, the husband, the wife, to have that family.
And so should a woman submit to her husband?
Ooh.
Submission is a two-way street.
Okay.
Submission requires the participation of both parties.
Okay.
And so in order to want a woman to submit, you have to submit and commit to the process of submission.
Right.
And so I can't expect you to do something that I'm not willing to do. Mm-hmm. And so it's a two-way street. Yeah. Both of us have to be in tandem with the submission process, or not. Both of us are going to rebel.
Right.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
So are you submitting to your wife, or are you submitting to God? Because
talk about it.
Because you're supposed to submit under God, and then your wife submits underneath you.
Exactly.
Whatever God purview gives you,
exactly.
You provide for your household, and then the woman follows your lead.
So you pastor your house.
Because when you say that, sometimes women think, oh, you should submit to me.
Right. No.
You're supposed to be submitting to the big homie. We good?
So when you say God, of course God gives the man a vision. Yeah. So would a woman submit to a man if she feels that he doesn't have a vision? No. You have seen it so many times though, where relationships are going and nobody's really getting direction. So that's why people are getting divorced and people are arguing, because you're following someone that is not even talking to God.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
Yeah. I also think you gotta see that. You gotta know what you're looking for too, because if you don't know, you're gonna just be looking in the dark trying to figure it out. Like,
Right.
again, that thing is so hard to try to figure out. I had to figure it out. I done ruined a lot of women's lives trying to figure through that in that entire process. And when I finally got it, I was like, all right, cool. This is what I want to do. So it takes time for men, especially if you don't have a gentleman or a father in your life to kind of like teach you the inroads and outroads with dealing with women and their responsibility and your responsibility to them. So it takes a lot of time on both ends, I think.
So what advice would you give to someone that, of course, they want to be able to do that, but they don't really have that father figure? They aren't really spiritual. What advice would you give to them?
Shit. Be around more married men. Honestly, like, be around more married men. I joined the frat because I didn't have that circle. I didn't have that kind of like mentorship, and I learned a lot from them. So just be around people that you want to be like. So if you want to be around money, be around money. If you want to be around married people, be around married people. If you don't, then you're gonna get what you get.
I'll jump in there. I think be whole. I think there's a misconception in relationships that there should be two halves to make a whole.
Okay. Talk about it.
Whole individual.
By yourself.
By yourself.
Okay.
Be whole. Be confident in who you are. Be healed if you have trauma. So if you grew up in a broken home, heal from that.
Right.
I'm a fervent believer in Jesus and therapy.
That's a fact.
Okay.
Find someone that you can talk to unashamedly, that can share with you unbiased and walk you through healing. Because if you go into a relationship broken, you're going to break someone else.
Yeah, right.
That's a whole fact.
That's true. And what about you? What is your perspective?
I think we have to go into a relationship with an understanding that you have to understand what you want, but not in the sense of trying to mold or make somebody.
Right.
But also understand that, okay, this is what I want, but we're gonna grow here together. We're both here, not you're down here and I'm building you up to where I'm at.
Exactly.
And we're going, because you're gonna go here and then this is gonna be here. Now you're like, oh, okay, now I got it. This is back there. I got it. So I think that's what we gotta understand, moving in growing with the person in which you're trying to build with.
And so I know that you just got engaged. So tell me, what was your mindset what was that moment where you said, you know what, this is who I want to be with for the rest of my life? Were you all the way there? Do you feel like, what was that process?
So to be honest, I was married before, so
Okay.
I understood what it means to be equally yoked.
Right.
So I think when I found that and I understood that this is it, there's nothing else that you want to look for at the time, or there's nothing else you want to look for, period. And this is where it's like you get to a point where you see the future with that person.
Right.
So that's what I felt, and I was like, okay, so this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is who I'm supposed to be with.
Perfect. I like it. And so is there a thing that a woman can be too independent?
Ooh.
There you go. We still ain't get clarity from the submission piece from the ladies. We still ain't get clarity from the submission piece from the ladies.
You're right. I mean, I think that when you guys talked about it a lot, but I think that a woman will submit to someone that they hear the vision from God. Like I strongly believe that if God is giving you a vision, then I have no problem submitting, but I need to make sure that we're here. I need to make sure that you're actually getting this vision from God, like everything around. And I have no problem, but I think that a lot of that is not happening. I don't think that we're coming together, we're praying over our finances, our goals, our things that we're facing. I don't feel like we're getting down on our knees and praying. And of course, I'm not going to submit to someone that you have no vision. Without no vision, the people perish. So let's talk about it. So I just think that for me, I'm not submitting unless I know that this is what God said and I can follow you. Like if God said sell our house today and He's going to bring us blessing, then I'm gonna do it because that's what God said to do it. So hey, that's my piece on it.
I agree. I definitely feel like there needs to be a mission and a vision for the household.
Right.
That's fair.
Quick
Well,
question.
okay.
Quick question. How long does it take to realize that man has that vision or not? Because we can say vision and.
But that's all about you as an individual woman and where you are mentally. So for me personally, because of what I grew up and I saw, like I'm super duper independent. All of the women in my family are independent, and the marriages, if married, never lasted. And so they had to not only provide for themselves, but they had to provide for their whole family. So I'm so independent, it's actually a struggle for me to submit. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's the hardest. Yes, that's the hardest thing for me as an independent black woman is to submit to someone else. You want me to put all of my faith and my life in your hands?
Exactly.
What?
You get to choose them though.
You are right. However, and it kind of goes both ways spouses friends. I thought in my head, in my heart, from what I was feeling in that moment was, okay, they can do some good for me. They're right by me because I know I'm a good person. I know I have a good heart. I know I'm gonna do right by anybody who is around me. I want to nurture you because there's more in the universe than negativity.
Right.
And the hardest thing to do is to be positive in such a negative world. But it's just ever since I was a little girl, my grandma used to tell me, yeah, she's just so talkative. She make friends wherever she go. And it's just, no, like, I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So ironically, I went to Georgia State and I was a psych major. Ironic, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's a battle. So I'm trying to heal, like you said, heal from all of my past traumas, all of my failed relationships, all of my failed friendships. And it's really taking a toll on me in the woman that I am today. Because if I can't bring peace from, with myself, I can't share peace with anybody else. So for me, submitting is actually extremely hard because growing up, all I ever saw was the women in my family be independent, to where they not only had to take care of themselves, they had to take care of themselves, the whole family, their children, their children's children, like whatever the case was, without that support of a man, whatever role that man was to play in their life.
You put the responsibility on men for doing that to these women, to your family members, or do you place a responsibility on the woman for choosing to be with that man?
In my opinion, honestly, the blame is on both.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the blame is on the woman because if you know your situation and you know the type of help and the type of love and the type of nurture that you need, why would you settle for someone who is giving you temporary satisfaction? So for the man, if you see the burden that is on this woman, why would you dare into her life and you're not trying to help lift that burden?
Exactly.
How and why?
Exactly.
That's a fact. Because I come from a similar situation. Like, my mom is unmarried, all of my aunts are unmarried, and all of them had children out of wedlock. Like, for me, like, I think giving a man a kid from a woman is the highest gift that you can ever give a man.
Exactly.
And for men, is to give that lady marriage and kids and comfort in a foundation. So it's just like, if you're not getting that on the front end, what do you expect is going to happen on the back end?
And I completely agree with you. So me going through my young days and a hot girl summer, you're putting yourself in positions and you're attracting yourself to certain types of men because of how you're carrying yourself. And I wasn't able to understand that until I was a woman who had grown out of that stage. It ain't all about getting drunk, twerking, going to the club with your girlfriends, regardless if your intentions were pure. So I'll tell you, my intentions was to go out and have fun, to just be with my girls, and I was always the mama bear. Oh, you trying to talk to my girlfriend? Oh, no. Oh, we're gay. That's my girlfriend. We don't need you. That's my girlfriend. No, thank you. Yeah, it's true. So I never did anything to disrespect my relationship, never realizing that that's exactly what I was doing. Disrespecting my relationship.
So when we say a woman is so independent, though, why do men naturally get that perspective that we don't need men? Why is that, though? Why do men say, you know what, she doesn't need a woman, she can do everything by herself? Why is that?
Truthfully, sometimes it's the energy. I think we all carry an aura, and our aura attracts certain things. And sometimes when a man is in his press and he's trying to get you to not submit because it's too early for that, but at least bend and be willing and open and vulnerable to the process of dating, sometimes it's very aggressive. I'll speak personally. So in my relationship, I say all the time, I say all the time, like we'll be texting and she'll say something, I'll text back, okay, mom. Because sometimes it feels very...
Yes.
I know this. Well,
but are women naturally like that though?
But it's off-putting sometimes to men. You have to understand your audience. It's all about knowing your audience and knowing the situation that you're in, and knowing that sometimes I don't need you to mother me. I have one of those, and so sometimes I need you to help me because biblically that's what we should be, and not mother me. I've been raised. Let's be in a relationship.
Okay. Quick question. So if in the Bible, it says eventually, and this ain't word for word. Don't quote me. Paraphrase. From my perspective of what I gathered from the information that was provided, the wife is supposed to come along and replace the mother. women in general have a mothering and nurturing type of spirit, which makes us super duper independent, and what might come off as, I don't need you, I do it myself.
So the scripture in your interpretation says that he should replace, and that's not what it says. The scripture says that a man will leave his mother.
Okay.
The Bible tells us in creation that Jesus put Adam to sleep, opened him up in the side, pulled a rib from him, and created Eve. So she became the partner in his walk, not the parent in his walk.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. 'Cause I didn't even get all of that. Thank you.
And so Charlie, you were talking about if, someone has to be on the same level as you for you to submit or for you to want to be with them. Talk about that level. What is that? If you're here, what level do they have to be at to meet you to that certain
We need
place?
figures too. Like we need details.
How much money you gotta have in the bank?
I don't even think it's about money.
It's not.
No. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. So, from the old Charlie to the new, more mature Charlie. If I know what I want to start my own business, I want to become financially free, I want to work out more, I want to get closer to God, I want to meditate daily, I want to do yoga 4 or 5 times a week, I want to go on dates, I want to make meaningful memories.
Yeah.
I'm not going to submit myself to being to being attracted to a man whose whole vision in that moment is let's go out to the club and buy sections for all of our friends to come get free drinks.
Right.
Let's go to my partner house so we can go smoke a pound let's pull up on the plug. Let's waste our time during the day because we want to drive around in a fancy car and stunt for social media.
Right.
That type of person doesn't feed the woman that I am trying to become.
Exactly.
You said what you don't want. What do you want?
I'm honestly, so from all of the things that have failed in the past, of course I have a list of things, of qualities in a man that I do desire. But because I'm still growing and healing from those traumatic experiences that I had endured, I'm still figuring out who I want to be.
Right.
And without knowing who I want to be, I really don't know who I want my partner to be. So for me, I'm just doing a lot of soul searching. That's my stage that I'm at. I'm doing soul searching.
Gotcha.
Now I'm attracted to certain qualities, like if you do things without me asking. If you spend a lot of quality time with me, that's my #1 love language. And I think that's important too. For you to know your love language.
Exactly. You to know your partner.
And sometimes, so my least love language, oh, y'all help me. So it's physical touch, it's gifts,
Words of
affirmation,
affirmation.
Quality time.
and
Physical touch.
Acts of service.
acts of service. Thank you. So I think the least one for me, honestly, is words of affirmation, and it's because I honestly suffered through I was just the self-esteem turmoil that I suffered. It was just so deep and endured. That's something I had to heal from.
Yeah.
You can tell me I'm beautiful all day, every day, but if I don't think I'm beautiful, that love language doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if that's the only love language you speak in, eventually, it's gonna be nice in the beginning, but then towards the end, I'm like, okay, I'm bored with him next.
Right.
Thank you. Next. You know what I'm saying?
And so what are some of the rewards of being married, and what are some struggles that you face? Because I know you said you're coming up on 5 years, and that's kind of the telltale, like, are you gonna make it, or are you gonna keep going? So tell me about that.
Peace of mind, honestly. Like not knowing what your spouse is doing like that. I need to know. I need structure. I need meals. I need rearing the children.
Okay.
I need clothes ready. Like I need those things. Like and those things because I'm trying to build. I'm not trying to mess around with my time. Like I'm 32 and I ain't got time. So we need to build as much as we need to build to leave it off our kids at this time. But I would say the biggest thing is peace of mind. Honestly, like having my wife cook. Having her do a lot of the household things while I do a lot of the building outside. Making sure we have another house so we can get residual income and things of that sort. So she does that and I do that. We know our lanes. Like it ain't always easy either.
Right.
Cause it's just because I just told her maybe 2 days ago I was like I'm about to go get another job. She was like you ain't about to go get another job. I'm like first of all. my first priority is to provide. So as long as I'm working in that realm, you can't tell me what to do. You may not like it, but if I feel like we're not financially where we need to be, then I'm gonna go out and hustle because I want you in the crib with the kids.
Right. So you're setting her up. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, honey, I playing devil's
So what are
advocate.
some struggles though? What are some struggles when you first got married? Like, your first year of marriage, second year of marriage, and now you're on 5 years. Have you guys overcame those struggles? What are
Absolutely.
those?
Traumas on both sides. Like my wife was her parents were married, so she's seen trauma inside her relationship.
Right.
Because just because you're married don't mean like you're not seeing things. So
Exactly.
it's like, I had trauma not having a dad and stuff like that, but she also had trauma seeing how they communicated with one another. So now you got all of that in one household. Like now you got tension because I'm an alpha male and she's accustomed to being that, but around me we ain't doing that. Like,
Right.
We're
Okay.
not, so now we like this until because somebody's gonna woefully submit and it's not gonna be me. So whatever we need to do, let's do it. And we went through that for the first 5 years, like trying to figure out like, okay, this is your space. I'm gonna allow you to have that space. This is my space. And now we rocking because it's like, all right, I'll do this, you do this, and then it's just like we build together.
Right.
So that's honestly.
Controversial question.
Go ahead.
Are you subjecting your marriage to gender roles? Because you want your woman to be in the kitchen cooking. You want your woman to be your wife. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You want your wife to be the mother and that female role model within the house. But what if your wife wanted to go and get a job that made way more money than the job or the income that you currently bring in?
Okay, so my wife did make more money to me once upon a time, and then I was like, all right, I'm elevating, cool, because I'm competitive, so I got my wife to be competitive. Like, you got a job that's making, all right, I gotta step my. I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm like, cool, now I know what I need to do, and I'm always, because like again, I have the purview of providing, so I need to kill what we eat. So at the end of the day, I have the time, I have the physical strength to be out and do more than you do. So I'm gonna always hustle and grind. So yeah, so that's just my perspective. I ain't gonna bitch about it. Cool, you make more? Time to elevate. Time to get more education. Trying to like.
And so when you also say those gender roles, like you were saying, if she wanted to go out, that takes away from also the men being able to provide. Because again, that goes back to the whole being independent thing. Because if she's going out to provide, what does she necessarily need her husband to? Is she still going to have that same form of intimacy with him? Is she still going to respect him as a man? Because at this moment, I'm out making all the money, bread, I'm coming home doing all this. I mean, what are you?
Well, honestly, I was just going to say though, it's kind of like going to a buffet line. And one of my best friends just recently gave me this analogy. When you go to the buffet line, are you and your partner at that buffet line with the same plate? Or do both of you go to the buffet lines with your own plate and you put your own food on your own plate? So in that moment, I don't know, like I feel like we will be seen as equals because I feel like the woman is often, I ain't gonna say put under the bus, but y'all understand what I'm trying to say. They're belittled for being less strong physically, whatever the case may be. So it pushes us women to prove y'all wrong in the long run.
I think it's a matter of what works for your marriage.
Right.
I think marriage, the beauty of marriage is a union of two people who have both submitted to a process that God has ordained. And if it works in your marriage, it works in your marriage.
Right.
And so while in some marriages, mom stays home all day and husband is at work grinding, providing.
Right.
And then in other marriages, mom is at work all day
And
grinding, providing, and dad is at home.
Right.
And then in other marriages, mom and dad are both at work, kids are with nanny, and they're both grinding and providing. So it's literally what works for your marriage.
Right.
What worked in that marriage, there is no mold to marriage. There is no exact box that marriage can be put in. It's literally a matter of what works best for us. And if this doesn't work for us, and that's the beauty of marriage. We can try something and say, nah, that didn't work for us. Let's try something else.
And I also don't think that we're in the age where we're just putting women like solely into boxes. Because I'm pretty sure, Jay Sean, if your wife wanted to do something that provided finances for you all that she also enjoyed, I'm sure you would be on board with that. So I think it's like, for me, like I'm an educator. I know I'm going to have a school for my kids. Like my boyfriend's already cool with that. Okay, we both realize, okay, this is what you want to do. This is what you're going to do. We're going to meet in the middle. I'm not going to like stop doing what I want to do because I became a wife, because I became, a mother. And I think that's what you're saying too. Like as long as everybody's on board with what's going on, it's going to benefit everybody. I think it's going to work.
That's fair.
I have a challenge to that because if I'm making a certain amount of money, for me, you ain't going out into the plantation. Like,
I mean,
just
that's a
you
good point.
ain't,
Okay.
because that's my life's work, is to bring my wife into the crib so she can do whatever she wants to do. Like,
Right,
yeah.
you ain't, because I look at, honestly, like, work as like slave, like, cool, go out and go. You get 2 days off, you get 5 days on. It's just like,
Exactly.
so at a
Right.
certain point, it's just like my life objective is to make sure my wife can be who she wants to be. Like,
Right.
go be at the house, chill, relax.
Personally, I have a challenge for what you just
Yeah,
said.
let's do it.
So you said going into work is plantation, which I totally understand.
That's a fact.
So let's flip it, because I can use me. I know for sure by 30, I don't ever plan to push a clock.
That's a fact.
I've already had this conversation with my girlfriend. She's aware.
Yes.
Right.
You will marry a man who does not go and push a clock.
Right.
However, you will. I'm not sending you into a plantation though.
That's a fact.
I'm still working. I just don't push anybody else's clock. I push my own clock.
Okay.
And so,
Right.
so her going to work every morning isn't her going into a plantation.
Right.
It's her doing what she loves, and it provides us an income.
Absolutely.
It's not. I think when you call it plantation, it places this stigma or this dark cloud over it, as if it's something that you're saving her from. I don't think in a marriage you are the savior. And so sometimes when we say, "Oh, I'm bringing my wife off her job," maybe she don't want to come off that job. Maybe that's her passion. Maybe that's what she loves to do. Like my parents today are celebrating their 28th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Right.
So my mom's an instructional coach. My dad ain't ever gonna tell her she can't go to work. Because she loves education.
Right.
He never gonna tell her she can't go to work.
Right.
So I think, like, while I understand the premise of what you're saying, I think when we call it a plantation, it becomes this negative connotation that we're placing on a woman doing what she loves, if that's what she's doing.
There we go. There we go. I think that's what it is. I think that's the case. Like,
I mean, I think it's just a conversation. Like you said,
Absolutely.
you don't feel like punching the clock. Like me personally, I don't plan on punching the clock. I haven't punched one for a few years, and I don't plan on ever punching. However, I will. My partner, he plans to retire, 9 to 5. But you also need that balance, because if I need health insurance, that
Yes.
is where it's gonna come
Yes.
from. And like, that's not what I'm saying.
Somebody gotta pay for insurance.
You need someone that is, but you have to have that conversation, because a lot of people, like you said, some men are like, if you don't want to punch the clock, I gotta find someone. That's fine, but that wasn't the partner for me, because I already have my goals and what I have in mind, that what I'm doing will work. But I think it is a conversation. But I mean, I think it's different ways to look at it. Like you say, a plantation. I look at it as a plantation. I'm not gonna lie. I'm serious. I think there is no plantation. I don't think that there's no, like, you're putting a limit on how much money. I just feel like all of that is a plantation. Like you said, you got 2 days off and 5 days on. That's a plantation. But I think, again, like the way that you look at it, you truly love what you're doing. Of course, nothing is ever gonna feel like a plantation, but it's just different minds. Like
Right,
to me,
right.
if I have an entrepreneur spirit, then it's a plantation to me. So I think that it's just a conversation that you have to have.
That's right.
In today's society, are men still leading households? What do you think, Britt?
So for me personally, I have not been able to experience a man leading my personal household.
Right.
So similar to a lot of other stories in the room, I was raised by a single parent, so my father was absent.
Right.
However, in my profession, for those that don't know, I'm a social worker, so I work for Child Protective Services, so there are situations where the mother figure is not able to care for the children, as far as providing basic needs and things like that. So you do have to consider the biological father to step in and be that support for all things. So I will say that I know it's still happening, but for me personally, I haven't experienced it.
What about y'all? What about Key? Charlie?
My household, I mean, me and my partner does not live together yet, so I can't personally speak on that. However, just mimicking the relationship with my mom and my stepdad, like my stepdad leads the household. Of course, she's like right behind him, but it doesn't never feel like a competition thing. Like, okay, I'm doing this and you're doing this. Like, no, you spent too much money here. Like, they never go through that because I think they have their finances like well intact, which I think is, again, important in a relationship. So I would say, yeah.
I think in mine, it's more of like we kind of like move at the same pace almost.
Okay.
Because even growing up, like my dad and mom was both in the household, and my dad, did a lot of the I guess what would the general be like the cooking and cleaning. My dad, he would get into a cleaning frenzy and start cleaning.
Right.
And then he did all the cooking. He did all the cooking pretty much. That's because he was into like Master Chef and watching all that cooking shows and whatever.
Right.
So watching him, it was more like an equal thing with both of them. Because even when I come to him about certain things, go ask your mother. I go to my mom's, go ask pops. So it's kind of like, you know, it wasn't like I go to him and he's leading everything that we do. So like when it came to programs and stuff, my mom was putting us in programs. When it came to, you know, different financial things, you know, my mom would go to my pops for like different financial things, you know, like, the kids trying to do this. But at the same time, to me, visually growing up, it looked like, they both in tandem. It's like a dual generator. So when like going into my own relationship, I was like, okay, if I'm looking at that as the blueprint, I'm not gonna say that's how mine is going to be. But we're gonna try to, you know, see what happens. If it works for us, it don't, you know, we gotta go a different route. Then let's do that.
Like for me, I was actually just talking to my dad yesterday, and my mom said in the back, I want to get my nails done tomorrow. He was like, go ahead, you can do it. But they have conversations about money together. Like they have a rule, if it costs more than $500, text the other person first. They have a conversation, this is what I want, because my parents have separate accounts individually, but a joint account together. And so if you're spending out of that joint account, we have a conversation together if it's over $500. Because maybe I'm saving for something, or I'm preparing to do something for our house that we haven't talked about yet. You better go spend all that I've been putting in that account to purchase that thing. So I think men lead the household physically, but it is a teamwork to actually get the household running. And so like my parents alternate who cook. Literally, they have weeks in their house where my mom is responsible for cooking everything. My dad's a whole chef. But they have a whole conversation. Like in 1 week, my mom's cooking, 1 week, my dad's cooking.
That's awesome.
I like that though.
Literally, that's how it works. Now, there are things that my dad does and my mom never has. Like, my mom never puts gas in her car. She never takes trash out. That's just certain things that they do. So I think literally, I've been saying it all day. It's about what works best in your situation. So if me cooking as a man is what you need, so in my relationship, I'm the better cook. And so. Because we both have agreed that I'm the better cook, I handle the cooking. It's very simple. It's about what works. So if I don't want to be eating burnt garbage, I know I need to cook.
So your question was, do men still lead households? So in my opinion, and through this whole conversation, I've grown some. Okay, so I came in here at a certain level and I done elevated. So thank all So it's not that I want him to lead. However, that's something also that I learned from the Bible is that the man is supposed to lead. Like you got my front, I got your back. Exactly. Stuff. So the communication, I would just want us to be on the same level. So as far as having kids and stuff like that, like I would want our partnership to where if my daughter and my son goes to the father thinking that they gonna get the yes, and that's the reason they didn't come ask me, the dad would be like, all right, hold on 1 second. Hey, babe.
Exactly.
Right. Look at what this is. Oh, yeah? Oh, all right. Tell them to come ask me. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want us to be on such just an untouchable level. Right. To where nothing can penetrate our love and our communication. So, I don't want one of us to lead. Right. I want both of us, to do it together. Yeah. It's like a pilot can't necessarily fly the plane without the co-pilot. Right. And the co-pilot can't fly the plane, without the pilot. Yeah. Right. Both of them are equally important and dependent upon one another. Right. Interdependence. A pilot or a co-pilot, whichever role I'm gonna take, that's the role I'm gonna take. But I want my partner to be that equally other partner, as you said, being equally yoked.
Yep. But I think the statistics show like marriages are up. So like men are taking the lead in the household and saying, I want to commit to you, I want to build this foundation with you. I think to answer your question,
Yeah. Okay. And so I know you were talking about how being in love or a man that loves you so much terrifies you. Do you guys feel that way? Ladies, do you feel that sometimes when you find the perfect partner, you find the perfect man, that you sabotage it because you have all these things going on in your mind, or you're like, you're thinking of worst case scenarios that he might be the best thing that ever happened to you? Do you think that when it's time or when he gets down on one knee, you have a million things going in your mind?
Of course.
She said it.
The first thing I'm gonna say is, in that moment when I'm considering all the things from the past, goes to show my growth as a woman.
Okay.
If I'm not willing to accept you and all of the good things that you can do to me or for me, there's something that is still holding me back, and I, as my own independent woman, have to identify that. I have to fight my own demons. No one else can fight my demons but me. Once I have healed, and I was to get that, it ain't no question, baby. Let's do it.
But when you so when you're saying you have to fight your demons, that all comes with time.
Right.
Sometimes time is not our best friend.
You are
if
right.
you know, sometimes it might take you 6, 7, 8, 9 months to fight demons. But if there is a man that truly loves you, hey, within 2, 3 months he's ready. So are you going to, let me still fight these demons? Are you going to hold that off, or when that opportunity presents itself, what are you going to do?
I feel like everything in life is your mental.
Yes.
Everything in life is your mentality.
Yes.
Right. If you want that demon gone, you're going to fight around the clock 24/7 to get that demon gone, because like you said, and I completely agree with, time is not always our best friend.
Right.
But as long as that demon is still there, that demon is blocking your blessings because you're allowing it to.
Right.
So you got to put in your own work to get rid of what's holding you back. You got to figure it out. You got to come up with several different ways, and if those ways don't work, try a new way. You can't give up.
Right.
How you gonna want someone else to pour into you when you're not willing to pour into yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
And I also think that comes with having a partner that kind of understands you. The
Yes.
relationship I'm with right now, the person I'm with, he's very vocal. So he'll call me out. My ex-boyfriends, I can say what I want to say because I've had this spoiled mentality because I'm the only child, and I realize the world does not revolve around little Kiana. But my new relationship, like, he's very vocal. Okay, he says all the time, you have your ass on your shoulders. Like, I'm gonna wait till you get your attitude off. Dang, I can't do it with him. So it's forcing me to realize, like, to change. So sometimes I'm very stubborn. Like, if I'm upset, I'm gonna go in the other room. That's what I do. I'll wait till you come out there.
Yeah.
But he don't come out there like 5 minutes. Like, so that time is like, dang, like, it gives me time to, like, really think about what I've done. So I'll have to come back and try to, like, dang, is it me? Because he'll be in the room chilling and I'll be in there mad. So really, I look crazy because he's, he's chilling. So that comes with So for example, like, something happened like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, you're responding to this because, your situation with your dad. So he's already, like, aware of what's going on. So I just thank him for not, like, trying to push me to the side, because I'm in therapy. I'm getting myself together still. So it's kind of like little things will still trigger me. So I'm grateful that he's, like, very patient with me. Like, hey, we're going to get through this together. Like, I understand what's going on.
Yes.
Like, his thing is, how can we move forward?
Exactly.
So, I'm grateful for that.
So something that Charlie and Kiana said took me back to a lesson I learned probably about 6 years ago. God hasn't given time authority to do anything.
Okay. Talk about it.
There is absolutely nothing. Time has no authority. Time has no responsibility to do anything for us individually. It is a requirement of a reprobate mind to decide that I'm going to do something. And so we can say all the time, well, I'm going to give myself X amount of time to do it, and it never gets done. Here's why.
Exactly.
Because time didn't have the authority to do it. It is you within yourself saying, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to do it, and then actually following the plan to do it. So to your end, and you've said that you're going through your healing process, he could come tomorrow. And then you have to make up your mind to say, I am willing to go on this journey with them, and I don't care how long it takes. I asked my girlfriend after our first week of dating, if I asked you to marry me tomorrow, would you? And her answer was yes. What that said to me is you've made up in your mind that you are willing and ready to go on a journey with someone else, regardless of what you know yet. Because I have made up in my mind that there is something I identify with in you that matches something in me, and let's go on the journey together.
Yeah.
And maybe at the end of the journey, we realized that we weren't supposed to go on the journey together, but we learned something on the journey together
of course.
that
That's what we're
equipped us for the next leg in the journey.
Yeah.
So I say all the time, when we talk about, oh, I need to heal, give me 5 months. Nah,
Yeah.
you can do this in 5 days.
Exactly.
You have to make a choice to do
Do it
it.
in 5 hours.
Do it in 5 hours.
Exactly.
Listen, my therapist.
Really quickly, I came from an occupation recently as an 8th grade math teacher in Darlington County in Florence, South Carolina. And something I used to always tell my kids, if it's important to you, you're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
If not, you're gonna find an excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
How ironic is it coming back to me to slap me in the face?
It's really applied to multiple areas.
Yeah. If it's important, you're gonna find a way, and if not, you're gonna find an excuse.
That's good.
Oh, give me 5 months. That's an excuse.
That's an
Exactly.
excuse.
If you want something right in there, imagine, like, just think about it. If it's something that you really want, it ain't nothing in this world. It ain't no force, person, belief, disbelief, nothing that can stop you.
Right.
Prime example.
I wanted to come here today. I was running a little late. I was like, oh Lord Jesus, this is so great. I'm running off other people's time. I was like, but I wanted to be here.
Yeah.
So even if I show up and they already started filming and it was too late for me, I wanted to come. So
Yeah.
I still made my way
Yep.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something mental. It's definitely mental because even like you're thinking like, dang, I don't have this time. Or, he might not accept me because I have something. You have to find that partner that is willing to accept all the flaws.
Yes.
Now, finding that partner is not going to be easy because everybody has work. I know I found myself, I'm like, dang, I need a lot of work. I got some things like that I'm battling with, but you never really know until you find a partner that says, hey, like, why are you always so angry? Or why are you always so frustrated? And it's like you start thinking like, why am I so angry?
Yes.
This is the perfect partner. He doesn't deserve that or she doesn't deserve that. So I think that it's something mental, but I think that it all stems from therapy, God, just different tactics that you have to find because I don't believe that that's a battle that you can do by yourself. I think that you have to have someone holding you accountable. You have to have somebody that's like, hey, you having a bad day today? All right, sometimes I wake up with a 2 and I'm like, let me lay that down for 5 more minutes because I'm already pissed off and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. So you just have to really find someone and just kind of go through that mental battle yourself. So I think that's some good conversation. We got one last question for you guys. How do you know when you're ready to settle down?
I feel like as a man, you know when she matches your needs and she pushes you to a point in which you want to excel beyond what she is asking for.
I like it.
For me, it's once I have learned how to channel my inner peace and that partner doesn't interrupt it. That partner complements it and doesn't necessarily completes it.
I like that.
Okay. Well, I think the question is very broad. It's very broad, and for me, I'm very much, I would say, relationship type of girl.
Okay.
Within the last few months has been the first time I've really just been by myself and able to focus on some things for myself. So, being that I've identified things within myself these past few months, if my person were to present themselves right here, right now, I would absolutely be ready to settle down.
I love it.
Nice. For me, I have 2 very simple requirements. Can you cover and can you correct me?
I love it.
If you can cover me when I literally feel exposed and I feel like I'm vulnerable, and when sometimes I'm out of line, you can correct me in love. For me, when you can do those 2 things, it's time.
I love it. Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody's gonna be happy to have you.
Yes, you will.
Me personally, I'm very spiritual. So Kristen knows I have like a prayer book. I put everything in there. So before I entered my relationship, I had like a checklist. And I had to stop doing that because I was checking the box on things that I wanted, not what God wanted for me.
Amen.
So I had to like take some time and like just let God reveal the person who I'm supposed to be with, and I listen to Him. Like if He tells me this is who you need to settle down with, this is what I'm gonna do in this season. So that's how I figured it out.
For me, it was, is my weakness is her strength and my strength is her weakness. Again, my wife comes from a 2-parent household, married for 25 years, and I wanted that. So I was like, I don't know how to get there. But you see the blueprint, so let's try to figure this out. So yeah, so she she matched a lot of my weaknesses, like compassion, like communication. Like she was really strong in those areas. So I was like, you know what, you the one.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we got some really good conversation. I think we had different perspectives from everyone. So thank you guys so much for coming on the episode. Make sure you guys follow Cupid's Corner on all social media platforms and MissKupid.com where you can hear more of Cupid's Corner. I am your favorite host, Aybriel BTV, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.